honestly, Stanley, to me, it's a disgrace. I mean, for people to behave the way that they are behaving. So it means that all the years of saying we are pro-democracy, we are Nadeco, it was all pretense, it was all fake. And all the claims that we are fighting for true federalism and so on, it's all fake again. Yeah, because this government is trying to centralize everything instead of devolving power to the lower levels. But the sum total of this is that we are facing an evil of such a large proportion in the history of this country that if we don't all come together and end this Tinubu administration by 2027, Tinubu will try to be our Olbia. He will be president for life. All the signs are there. This is how Olbia started.
Yes, yeah.
All the signs are there. So we don't have a choice. And you are our leader. You have done this fight. You have fought the military. You have experience in democratic governance. And when you and Obasanjo are in charge of this country, no one has been imprisoned because he has different political views.
Absolutely not.
Never, not once. Even President Buhari with his military background never did that. And here we are facing full-fledged civilians. But they are worse than any military regime we've ever had. So your call that we must unite is a timely one. I think the people of Nigeria have made up their minds that this government must go, APC must be voted out. What the people of Nigeria are looking forward to is us. We must provide the leadership and the unity of purpose that we talked about. And I'm sure with your leadership, with your forbearance and your diplomatic skills of bringing people together, I'm sure we'll reach the promised land. That's as for me.
So, well, anyway, I know you're not the kind of person who is scared that will not, confront this situation. So, the more reason why, we should come together to confront this situation headlong.
Absolutely.
And make sure that, one, it doesn't happen anymore during the remaining part of this administration. Yes. And secondly, like you said, we send them out by 2027. Yes. And not through any other thing else, but through the ballot box.
The government and the people within Tinubu's government and their beneficiaries, they should say what they are saying, since they consider Nigerians to be incapable of determining by themselves and have to be told whether they are hungry or not. The reality is, where were we 10 years ago when the APC government came to power? I know they like pointing at Buhari as being the disaster that preceded this disaster. But the reality is that it's the same APC. There are persons within that government of Buhari that are inside this same government. Somebody like Kiyamo, for instance, of the 712 billion naira airport renovation budget. So they should say that the system is getting better. It is their right to say so. They are enjoying, their lives are getting better. The average Nigerian whose real income has evaporated will not say what they are saying. The real Nigerian who is spending his salary to fill a car tank, a car that he knows he cannot replace by the time that car packs up because his salary is meaningless, his business devalued. The naira itself, the naira is so devalued that you will probably find more dollars in the Nigerian bank than the naira cash. That is how bad. They're talking about infrastructure development. You see, the problem with us is that we tend to look at issues superficially. A government supposedly serving the people unilaterally awarded the contract for a road to Calabar, coastal road to Calabar. Of all the things required by Nigeria, with almost 20 million children out of school under the ages of 14, out of school, almost 20 million. That is the population of a lot of countries, both in Africa and in Europe. But we have 20 million brains that we can discard because all they need is to recruit more agberos, more terrorists, more headers, more bandits, more people who are incapable of questioning them even as they destroy the country. So it's okay. They don't need to fix that rot. They don't need to fix the rot in healthcare that I've seen almost every doctor of note fled the country. There is absolutely no need whatsoever to take a look at critical infrastructures that have collapsed completely. But of course, we must build a road to Calabar. And people focused exclusively on the stealing that attended that contract. Because if a contract did not go through due process, it is safe to say it is stealing, brazen-faced stealing. Now, there is an adjunct. In building that road, lands were created, and that was always the add-on that people didn't pay attention to. That road was used to grab people's land. Nobody is paying attention to that. The road was unnecessary. It was not required. There are other things that should take priority. Nobody is talking about that. So when they come out and they'll tell you about all the things that are working, it's working for them. But how much is the Nigerian paying in real cost for what they are saying? So they can be rebasing numbers and tweaking the numbers to make it look good. But have they made our pockets feel better? Can the average Nigerian go to the market and be able to feed reasonably well on their salaries? I doubt if up to 5% of those who earn salaries in this country live on their salaries.
Each time, especially when I speak with people in government, they ask me the same, they give me the same response. So let me give you their response. Are you saying that there is nothing good coming out of this government? Is there anything you can point to that is from this government? Because that's the question that they're asking me.
You know, I think it has now come to the point where I must thank God for the APC, for Tinubu particularly, and for how they have helped. I don't need to say much to show the average Nigerian the level of putrefaction that has now attended every layer of governance in this country. Because of them, it is easy to see the level of impunity that governs Nigeria. Aside from that capacity to show us how low governance can fall in Nigeria, there is nothing they have shown. It's not like they've been any worse than the Buhari regime in terms of policy choices. They were, at least, if nothing else, they were consistent in saying that they will build on the ruinous foundations of Buhari, and they've done that reasonably well. Nobody can take that away from them. But when it comes to the impact on the average Nigerian on the street in their homes, this government has been ruinous. From the Plateau to the Benue Trough to the rainforest of southern Nigeria, Kwara, people are running away from villages. They are abandoning villages in Kwara. The insecurity that they are pointing at is not just that it's worsening, it's that it's spreading. It's spreading. Even within townships, within cities, even Lagos, Ibadan, you are having an upward swing in kidnapping. It's not just about Fulani kidnappers anymore, kidnapping for ransom and all of that. It's not about that anymore. It's become an industry on its own. People can't even walk around freely in cities and they are crowing and talking about how well they are doing. These are real issues that the average man on the street can answer. It's a pocketbook thing. If the thing is getting better, we would all know. It will show up in the price indexes. When we go to the market, we'll see how far our naira can travel. The reality is that naira has evaporated. Even banks are not having it.
Okay, so you painted a picture of where we are as a nation.
It is where we are.
It's clear to see that there are deep fractures in our systems and in our leadership. That brings me to something you wrote recently, a reflection on the death of former President Muhammadu Buhari. You insisted that he should have lived to witness the full measure of justice for what you described as the suffering inflicted on Nigerian people. In your view, what is the deeper purpose of such justice? Is it about retribution, accountability, or the moral duty of a nation to confront its past before it starts to look forward?
You know, because we've been in this mess for decades, what has happened is that Nigeria has created alternative narratives in place of truth. So we elevate villains and paint them as though they are men who have delivered value to society. Muhammadu Buhari pursued power assiduously 30 years after he came back into power. I don't believe in speaking ill of persons who can't defend themselves. It's not about speaking ill of the dead. If you've done ill when you were alive, I reserve the right to speak to your deeds after your demise. He's dead now. So what pains me is that a jury of his peers, fellow Nigerians, never found the opportunity, we were never offered the opportunity to confront him with his many crimes against Nigerians. The pinnacle of that crime, of those crimes, was the Lekki Toll Gate massacre. He was the president and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. What they did is documented. A tribunal confirmed what was done. It is a travesty that even years after the fact, 5 years, almost 5 years now, we can't even say how many people died because government continues to deny the undeniable. In the face of all of the evidence, the government continues to deny it. That alone is scary, that we are in a country where those who are maintained from the public purse are denying the murder of citizens in broad daylight. It's not even the murder alone that has now been denied. The very humanity of those persons, it's almost like you erase them like they never existed. And there are precedents for that. It happened when Abacha was taken over in 93. It happened in Zaria with Buratai and the Shia. Was that Zaria or Kanfanchi? I can't even remember. Somewhere in Kaduna State. And then it came in broad daylight and it happened right here in Lagos. That is on one hand. And then what happened in northern Nigeria? We're talking about an elite class. What is it about our country that you can point to and describe as being elite? Nothing. Everybody who can escape escapes, and most of the time when you need to find talent to do things in the name of Nigeria, they go and bring people who don't even have Nigerian passports but have Nigerian parentage. So Nigeria has been emptied of potential to the point where they can't even find persons within the country. If they make it a condition that the players must play within the country, be born within the country, we'll probably not be able to field teams in a lot of sports. See, a person has to have shame before they can self-censor themselves. The APC is completely shameless. He has no shame about being, none of them is ashamed of being called thieves. After all, the chairman of that party was a man caught on video with money being stuffed in Babariga. The politicians you see jumping into it, they are jumping into that party in order to protect the loot, to make sure that nobody carries them. Look at our friend Tambuwa. If Tambuwa did not have any skeleton in his cupboard, nobody will carry him now. Maybe I'm in my house. Why haven't they come to carry me that I stole money? But they went to carry Tambuwa. If Tambuwa will join the APC tomorrow like Oshi Omole told all of us in broad daylight, his sins will be forgiven. So what they are doing to Tambuwa, you can call it evangelizing. So they are evangelizing him. They are preaching the gospel of the APC to him. So when he accepts the gods of the APC, you find that the EFCC will suddenly forget his file, just like they forgot Akpabio's own, and just like they forgot those of each and every one who you find sat at the high table of the APC.
Okay, I'm lost for words now. I don't know.
It's just the reality.
It seems like, yes, it is the reality. Well, still on the welfare of citizens of Nigeria.
We citizens, please. We don't have citizens. No,
we the people.
The least we can, just call us the victims of Nigeria.
Oh, we are the victims.
We are victims of Nigeria. People who are protected by law are citizens. The difference between victims and citizens is the protection of the law. For the law to protect you, you must live in a place ruled by law. Nigeria is a place that is ungoverned by law. It is governed by the whims and caprices of small-minded men. Even Obasanjo that you clap for and say he was the peak of our democratic experiment, how did Abacha's son leave prison in the Abiola, Kudirat Abiola murder case? He gave up money and the Supreme Court promptly freed him. Is that the charge for murder? So it's not today that Nigeria has all, they walk to the answer when it's not convenient for them. They just do wuru-wuru to the answer and then everybody go home and say no more. I am trained as a lawyer. I am not an anarchist. Whether I like the idea or not, whether I accept the process that threw him up or not, the reality is that today, Bola Ahmed Tinubu is the de jure president of Nigeria. Whether I like it or not, that is the person our system, imperfect, flawed, corrupt, prone to impunity as it is, has thrown up as our president. But beyond that, I retain the right as a conscious being to call what I see what it is, not what my oppressor would prefer that I call it. Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not come through a process governed by the free will of the people. No. A man announced the election result without a basis for announcement, no result from the states shown to anybody, and he blithely told everybody in the middle of the night, go to court. I will not speak to how good or bad that judiciary is. Today is not the need. We've said enough. I've written on that. I've said enough. The book I wrote on the judiciary was ready before the Presidential Election Tribunal delivered its result. But I deliberately delayed it because I didn't want that book politicized. I did not want it to seem as if I was scandalizing the judiciary for political reasons. And the book was not about persons. It's about the system. The government commits a lot of illegalities. And there are a lot of legal things they also do. But there must be a distinction clearly made. Tinubu's word is not the law. The law is different from the government. The government and the law are not in tandem on this issue.
There is an executive order.
Executive order cannot be found outside the boundary of law. If your executive order
is not questioned by the National Assembly.
Which National Assembly? Is the same National Assembly that changed national anthem in 72 hours. They've told you they will do anything they are told by Bulaba. They are not arguing with the president. Anything he wants, they give him. Is that the same National Assembly that didn't have any oversight on the two most meaningful contracts that this government has issued? The Lagos-Calabar Expressway did not pass through any oversight. It wasn't budgeted for. It wasn't in the national budget. The major power of the legislature is the purse. They never saw a budget for Lagos-Calabar Expressway. They saw no budget for the airport renovation. Are those the ones that you are saying that executive? Please, the least we can do to ourselves is to at least tell ourselves some bare-faced truth. We do not have a legislative arm worthy of the name. So if the president, we're essentially in a dictatorship. It is whatever Tinubu wants that Tinubu gets. Monkey see, monkey do. He demands, he gets. If we can't tell this to ourselves, then we can't even tell the truth. What we do about it is different. What it is different. What it is today in Nigeria is that the Nigerian judiciary, the Nigerian police, the Nigerian legislators, each and every one of what should pass for institutions in every other country in the world would do exactly as they are told by the president. There is no difference amongst members of our political class. And I use the word political class loosely. We neither have politicians nor have people who have class operating in what is called our political space. We essentially have people who do not see the Nigerian as persons to be served, They see themselves as persons who need to be served by the people they are meant to serve. So if the APC person will look at the ADC politicians and say that you are persons who failed at governance, the question is, who are the persons in the ADC? Are these persons, were they not in the APC yesterday? More than 90% of the persons who you point out in what is the ADC today were either in the PDP or the APC itself yesterday. Rotimi Amechi will come out and be preaching the gospel of how to save Nigeria, and he'll be telling, look, they are within their right to say those things they are saying, and that's why I've never been interested in their coalition. It is the Nigerian people who can change this situation.
But Rotimi Amechi said he knows how to win against Tinubu.
To win to do what? That's the question. When they talk about coalitions, the first question I'm asking, and I asked the same question even of the candidate that I supported in 2023, and that I'm likely to be supporting if I'll be involved in the political process in 2027. What do you want to do if you gain the power? You want Tinubu out. Look, saints are not going to come and save Nigeria. Let me just deal with that ADC issue.
So there's no.
It's still Nigerians that will save Nigeria. But the question is this: whether you are in the ADC or in the Labour Party or the AAC or any party for that matter, what does that change mean? You want Tinubu gone. I want him gone as well. We wanted Buhari gone. Buhari went, but what replaced him? Another disaster. So question is this: what do you want? And if Nigerians are looking to the politicians to tell them what they want and to organize them behind what they want, we've lost 2027 already. Anybody waiting for 2027 has already lost 2027, because I guarantee you that Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the INEC as it is today, because it's the same Yakubu that is there. And if Yakubu leaves tomorrow, whoever is going there will still be nominated by this person that was returned by Yakubu. So it is safe to say that in the absence of meaningful electoral reforms, the same thing that happened in 2023 will happen, and that is why you see better informed persons when it comes to politics in Nigeria, and nobody can be better informed than your governors and your senators who are running into the APC. They see how much we detest the APC, but they know that the APC holds the power unless this system changes in determining who is returned as president, governors, and elected officials in 2027. So anybody who is interested in change in 2027, whether those be the ones in the ADC or anywhere else, would need to find an alliance with the Nigerian people. An alliance between politicians will not do anything to move the needle. Tinubu is not going anywhere because politicians found alliances. He will remain in that place, and we will all continue to cry until 2031. Nothing will happen. He is a man very at home with impunity. He has no problem with it.
Are you implying that no matter what the coalition does,
if that coalition does not connect with the Nigerian people to the point where the people themselves are desirous of change and they are willing to stand behind their votes, nothing will change. In 1993, we didn't have IREF. There was no beavers. But we had free and fair elections because the people were tired. They wanted change. Even though it was subverted, they stood behind their vote, and we all knew the result. In 2027, that can only happen if the people are connected to the struggle for change. If all that they are doing in the name of coalition is that they are going to bring that odious fellow from Kaduna, and then they are bringing all kinds of characters that have ruined this country, the one who could even pay my father's gratuity in Osun, that's the one that is calling himself the secretary of the ADC. If it's those ones, they have lost. They need to connect with the people. Without connecting with the people to energize the people to want that change, 2027 is a waste of time. It's a waste of time. Without the people, it's a waste of time.
So how do you connect with the people?
It's very
with an
easy.
ADC that you said there is odious one from Kaduna, there is odious one from Osun that won't pay your dad's gratuity.
It's not only, we call him Baba Fusa, that's half salary. Baba Fusa, that was a sobriquet. He paid half salary all through his time. My father, if I wasn't able to take care of my father, he would have died years before his death. and that's the one who wants to go and, can that one talk to people in Osun State? He can talk to them. Maybe if they give them money like they usually buy vote, they will come out, they will vote if they can be paid, but they will not stand behind that vote. They will not stand when policemen come with soldiers and their talks. Those people will not, because they were paid to vote. They are not convinced that anything will change as a result of their votes. They are not invested in the process. So they will walk away. But if they are convinced that the future of their children and their own will be enhanced if there is a change in government, if they know what it means for change in education, in the structure of the country, in healthcare, in security, they will be interested because they know what to expect the day after. But you can't just paint them all these pictures. Look at that one in Imo State that was lying to the people that they were going to be having jobs abroad once they won the election. How many jobs have come from Europe for the people of Imo State since they went there? They're always building pies in the sky, and the people have come to the knowledge. There are so many governors all over Nigeria. Nigerians are aware that their politicians are fraudsters. So they are disconnected from the process. Do you understand? So a person who is disconnected from the process is not going to be invested in shifting the current reality unless you connect him to those realities. They are not doing that because they are not really looking for anything to change. Most of them are simply looking to be the ones administering the impunity. Not that they want things to change for the people. If you want things to change for the people, why can't you tell them the content of the change you are promising? Why is it so difficult?
In 1997-98, Abacha didn't want any other party to produce any candidate. He wanted to, I mean, we know what is happening. Tinubu wants to be the sole candidate in the next election. So he wants to destroy any other political party and plant midgets that will be pretending to be candidates. UNCP, DPN, CNC, GDM and all these funny things, they all said they had adopted Abacha as the sole candidate. But you had one nice gentleman, one of the most principled people that I've ever met, MD Yusuf, former Inspector General of Police. We used to meet in Banet Plaza. Then I was in his office in Banet Plaza. Then I was deputy publicity, sorry, I said deputy. I was National Public Secretary of the National Democratic Labour Party. Abacha did not register. I was doing register ANC led by Chiroma and Babanga Chukwu and Co, SPP led by. So we all merged together. Those who were not registered, we were talking underground. And some of us will also go and meet with MD, who was still in GDM. MD was saying, okay, yes, I hear all of you have endorsed Abacha. But the constitution of this party says we'll have a national convention. I'm still going to run at the national convention. Let Abacha come to the national convention and contest against me. But as God will have it, there was even no need for that. God intervened and the rest is history. That God that intervened that time is still on the throne. He has not vacated that throne for anybody. So if anybody thinks that after 27 years of that ugly experience, they are going to take us through that route, they must be hallucinating.
Good day to our viewers all over the world and welcome back to Look at Genoa. We've listened to what Nigerians are saying about Tinubu's administration. They are complaining about the autocracy and the dictatorship happening under his administration, even though he was a frontrunner of Nadeko, which championed the cause of democracy against military dictatorship. People are surprised that this could happen under his administration, and some are even alleging that it is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's wish to be the president of Nigeria forever. But I don't think that is possible. However, 2027 is what many Nigerians are watching out for, because some Nigerians are of the opinion that he is not the right person to lead Nigeria or take Nigeria to the promised land. And some are already tired of his administration, even some of his followers, because they feel like the tax that he's taxing, the taxes are implementing, and the way he's taxing Nigerians is becoming is unbecoming, and Nigerians can no longer bear it any longer. And for these reasons, some of the people he enjoys their support are withdrawing their support even before 2027 already, and this is going to make things difficult for him. And if you look at what Dele Farotimi said, you will know that there are so many sense in it. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu didn't come into power the proper way he should, because if you look at the history of the president we've had in Nigeria, you know that he's the president that enjoyed the least support of Nigerians, because he came in as a president with less than 40% of votes across the country. And if you come in with such a vote, you are supposed to prove so many Nigerians wrong, because the sentiment of Nigerians towards you before they didn't vote you massively is actually because they feel you're not the right man for that position. And some are even of the opinion that he never won the election, that he rigged himself into power. I don't know. That is their opinion about the election, the 2023 general election. However, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is supposed to prove so many people wrong about their sentiment against him. He's supposed to prove so many people wrong about what they think against him or about him. However, that is not what is obtainable now. Although he's doing his best in some aspect, however, on a general note, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has not fared very well, because Nigerians are suffering and complaining, and his policies are hurting the poor. And as a matter of fact, the impunity under his administration, it's not making any sense, because nobody expected it. If impunity can happen under his watch and under his administration, some even perpetrated by he himself, then of course you can see that this is a full-blown dictatorship government. Honestly, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, if he wants to enjoy the support of Nigerians, he needs to go back to the drawing board and change so many things. He removed fuel subsidy just the very day he was sworn in as the president of Nigeria, and Nigerians have not even recovered from that. And now he's still talking about 5% tax on each fuel Nigerians buy starting from 2026. How does it think Nigerians are going to survive? Nigerians are already feeding from hand to mouth already, and so many people cannot even survive on their salary. So how is he going to expect Nigerians to even survive? And if this thing comes, it's going to bring inflation as well, because the cost of living will skyrocket the more. Since his emergence as the president of Nigeria, you can see how people are fed in Nigeria. Nigerians have not been faring so well. Nigerians have not been living happily since he became the president, because life has been terrible. Life has been torrid for Nigerians, and for you to inflict more pain instead of reducing the pain, you still feel like increasing the pain for Nigeria or on Nigerians is the best thing you could do. Then of course you are not fit to become the president or to be re-elected as the president of Nigeria. Of course, I know he's human, and you can't be perfect. However, any policy you're going to implement as the president of the country should be policy that will affect the poor or the average positively, not policy that is going to affect the poor negatively while it benefits and has little or no impact on the rich at all. And looking at what the governors are doing in this country, I don't think it's fair to even blame President Bola Ahmed Tinubu alone. I know he's the president of Nigeria, and it's the federal that drives the economy, and they are the life wire of the country. However, there are chunks of money that is sent to the state, while the state governor embezzles this money for their own selfish interests, and the whole focus that's is channeled to the central is something that I don't find funny. We need to hold our state governors accountable as well, because these governors are the real thieves, and people should start holding them accountable, because these are the persons you get to before you get to the president. And of course, the state government and the state governors are supposed to champion the cause for driving the economy within their state and to bring in investors that could even spur growth within and around the country. However, the governors that we are having are governors that are thieves and are people who are not vast and people who are not knowledgeable, people who are not forward thinking, and people who are just interested in looting our public wealth. And that's the reason why Nigeria is stagnated today. So of course Tinubu is going to share a lion's share of the blame. However, people should not just affix the blame to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu alone. I know the reason why Nigeria are holding him responsible because of how he criticized former President Goodluck Jonathan's regime, and he was one of the people who ensured that Jonathan was removed and was never re-elected. And that is the same way, and that is the reason why some other Nigerians and some Southerners and people around the country are also serving him with the same spoon he used in serving President Goodluck Jonathan. So of course Tinubu needs to take responsibility, and he needs to do things that will better the lives of Nigeria. So in a nutshell, Tinubu has to sit up. He needs to re-strategize and start doing the right thing for Nigerians if he wants to be re-elected come 2027. Kindly drop what you have to say in the comment section, and if today is your first time to visit our channel, kindly like, share and subscribe to our channel.